Hi y'all. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome. My name is Amira and my channel is all about trying new makeup, talking about new makeup, but also finding new and exciting ways to be inspired by the makeup you already own. If that sounds good to you, I hope you will consider subscribing, and if you enjoyed today's video, hitting the like button. Today's video, guys, is a video that I've been thinking about for a while because I did a small declutter. Well, it was meant to be a small declutter, but it wound up being a bit larger than I was originally intending a couple of months ago. Just sort of like my mid-year declutter. I tend to do 2 declutters a year, one at the beginning and one at the middle of the year. And I got rid of a lot of stuff. But in doing so, I also kept a lot of things that I realized that I hadn't used in a long time, and they're not necessarily things that I dislike or things that I wanted to get rid of. They're just things that sort of get overlooked. There's also a few things in here that I haven't used in a while that I want to see if I still feel the same way about, because I purchased them when my makeup tastes and aesthetic were a little bit different. So I'm thinking, let me sit down, let me film a video with a bunch of makeup that I kind of just forgot about. Let's get into it. All right, so I'm going to start off with the Glowy Makeup Serum from Laneige. And this I included in my end of the year project pan. I said I wanted to finally finish this up because there is it's hard to see where the level is in regular light, but in front of the ring light I can see it, and it's about right here. So there's actually not that much left, and the glass ends here, so it's about that much left total. Not a lot, but the thing about this serum is that a little bit goes a long way. Well, yeah, I would say a little bit goes a long way. I will also say that this little pipette is the worst. It's really hard to pick product up in, which is another reason why I tend to not use a ton of it, because it just gets annoying. Like, even now I'm like, come on. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to apply this all over my face. Take my rings off for a second while I do this. And what I like about this is that it's not like, and I've already done my brows, so I'm going to try to avoid rubbing those, but what I like about this, it just kind of gives the skin a little bit of extra hydration. It makes it, as you can see, it's a bit glowier, but it's not like intense glow, you know, it's just like a healthy, bouncy glow. And I'm thinking I'm going to use something a bit more full coverage today. I have a breakout here and a couple here, and I'm thinking it's my sunscreen. I've been using the Summer Fridays Milky sunscreen a lot lately, and this is the most that I've used it since I purchased it, and it's the only thing that I can think of that is new to my routine that would have caused these breakouts. So I'm gonna step back from it for a little while and see if my skin clears up, and that will kind of be my clue that it's that. I'm hoping that it's not, because I actually really love that sunscreen. It's such an elegant formula, but I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So I'm gonna start with, I'm thinking I'm gonna either use my Tarte C Hydroflex Serum Foundation. I've got a little bit of this left. I've had this forever. It's a mini, but I still have product in here. Or I can use my KVD True Portrait Liquid Powder Foundation in the shade Tan 60. Now, when I first purchased this, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And then I used it recently just to try it out, and I hated it. I absolutely hated it. So I'm wondering if I should give it another go, especially now that I have like a glowier base on, like a glowier type of primer on my skin, and see if I still dislike it. And I think the reason why I dislike it is not the fault necessarily of the foundation, but of the fact that I don't really wear these really like heavy matte foundations anymore. So I think I'm going to go in with this one just to see. I'm going to do it on camera. I want to see how I feel about it. But I just remember applying it and just hating it, and really just feeling like, and also it's really yellow. Can you see that? I mean, it kind of blends out nicely, but when I first put it on, I feel like it's really yellow. And I have some yellow to my skin, but not like a crap ton. It's super heavy on the skin, I will say that. This is not a lightweight formula, and I think it's because it's like liquid to powder. you can definitely kind of like feel it on your skin. But it does give decent coverage. I don't know. I'm just going to take it up a little bit. I don't usually actually put that much foundation on my forehead. I don't actually like the way foundation looks on my forehead. I don't like that sort of mask feeling. So I usually, if I take foundation, I usually just take it up here. Because honestly, I put bronzer and everything, so it kind of just all blends together anyway. So I don't feel the need to necessarily take my foundation all the way up to my hairline. But I want to just apply it there just to see how it's looking. Okay. Well, I will say this. It took away all of the glow that my skin had. Look how bad I am. I don't like that. Oh. There was a time where this would have been like the thing for me. I would have been so unbelievably happy to have such a matte, smooth, velvety finish. And that's the thing. It's like, it's not a bad finish. It's just not a finish that I love. I'm very much now into the more skin-like. And I will say this, like, let me zoom you guys in a little bit so you can see. I don't know if you can see, but it doesn't look like it's catching on anything. Like, I don't have any dry patches, so it's not catching on anything per se, but it's just very matte. Except in here, I do have some glow still there, but not a lot. I have a little bit there, so maybe am I tripping, y'all? Am I tripping in my dislike of this, or am I like not feeling it? You tell me. I don't know. Yeah, but this used to be one of my faves, and now I'm just kind of like, I don't think so anymore. I don't think I like it. All right, now I'm gonna use my NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer in Caramel. This shade is kind of like not my shade, but also, which is one of the reasons why I don't use it that often, but the formula itself is one of my favorite like concealer formulas because of that sort of like creamy texture that it has. My favorite concealer, just so you know what kind of concealers I'm into right now, is the Kosas concealer. So that one is just, it's creamy as well, but it's not as full coverage. Maybe that match isn't too bad. I'm going to take it up over my brows too, just to kind of even this situation out. I don't carve my brows out like, you know, back in the day when everybody was carving their brows out. I used to do that too, but I did it to much less extreme extent than a lot of other people were doing it because I just thought I looked crazy. Okay, so the match is not bad. It's not bad. I mean, this was a decent match for me. My skin tone, the undertones of my skin have been kind of in flux. Like, when we went into lockdown, I feel like a lot of the warmth in my skin kind of, because I was indoors so much, it kind of disappeared. So I had to sort of like, I purchased newer foundations that were less warm, and now they're kind of too cool for me because we're back outside and like the warmth has come back into my skin, and it's just sort of like, but this one was like one that was more for like when my skin was on the warmer, more yellow tone side. So I don't think it's a terrible match, but I don't think it's perfect either. All right, so that is the base. Not terrible. I very much feel like I'm wearing makeup. You know what I mean? But it's not, like, if you can see, it's not completely like dried down. And it could be also because I have this on underneath and it's keeping it from being too dry. Last time I used this, I did not have this underneath and my skin looked and I was just like, oh no. So I think I did the right thing pairing these two, so that even though I still have a matte formulation, it's actually looking more satin. And I think that's due to the base, the primer underneath. So next up, let's do bronzer. And this bronzer I bought, and I mean, I've had it forever and I never use it anymore. And I'm like, it's actually a really good bronzer. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Neo Bronzer in Sundown Deep. It's a little, I tend to stick in this range because I don't like how ruddy that looks on me. So I tend to stick like over here. So we're gonna do that. And what I like about this one is it has a little bit of a shimmer to it. And I love a shimmery bronzer. But I haven't used this in ages. I'm tapping my brush off because I don't even remember what the formulation is like. Like, I don't even remember if I like the formulation. I mean, obviously I did if I kept it, but I'm like, do I still like it? You know what I mean? I mean, I tend to mostly use cream bronzers. Now, I still have powder bronzers that I like, but I still tend to reach mostly for my cream ones. And I do have a powder bronzer in my Project Pan. It's in my Too Faced Natural Face Palette, which I do love that shade and that formulation. So I'm not like completely mad at powder bronzers. I don't dislike them per se. It's just that, like I said, I used to be really into all powder, and now I'm more like a little bit of powder, a lot of cream. It's so funny how our makeup tastes change, because I used to be all about that powder life, and I used to think like, oh, creams, no, ew. And now I'm like, creams, yes, give them all to me. I love them all. I'm also gonna put a little bit on my nose. This is what I do. It's not, I guess it's like contouring. I don't call it that. I just do this to kind of give my nose some warmth. Like the sun has like kissed my nose, giving it a little smooch, a little smoochy-rooney. I just think it looks more attractive that way, you know? All right. Let's talk blushes. So I have two. First up is the Clinique Cheek Pop in Black Honey Pop. I hardly ever use this. I kept it. I know so many people rave about this formula. I've said that I feel like this formula is overrated. I don't think it's a bad formula. I think it's a good formula. I just don't think it's a formula that is as worthy of the high amount of praise that it gets. I think it's a decent formula. I will say that I had a hard time picking up product when I first got it, and I realized that for me, this works best when I use a natural hair blush brush. So this is one contender. The other contender is my Cover FX Blush Duo in Warm Honey, but I feel like it's a little too close to my bronzer almost. By the way, I have to say, I'm remembering why I did keep this bronzer, because look how pretty that is. Okay, that's so pretty. Okay, I think I'm going to go with this one just to have a little bit of contrast, and I'm going to use, what am I using? I'm using my Rephr number 5 to pick some of this up. You only need a little. Look, that's how much it's like you can barely see it on my brush, but it's going to be a lot of product on my cheeks, I think. Yeah, look at that. Yes, I apply blush on my forehead. I just like to bring all of this area together, so it's not like just like color here. I think when you bring it kind of all around, it just kind of marries the look together, and it just doesn't look like you've applied a lot of blush. Like, even though I have applied a lot of blush, and I like a heavy blush look. I do love blush in that way, but I also want it to look cohesive with the rest of my face. So I tend to do it this way, where you can kind of, let me zoom you guys back out so you can see it more. But yeah, I just kind of like to marry all of that together. All right, and that's literally all I'm doing. But did you see how much color that put on my cheeks? Just that little bit of product on this natural hair brush. So if you have these, if you have one of these or a couple of them, and you're struggling to like pick up product and get it to like blend the way you want it to, because I did struggle with that. And I will say that using a natural hair brush really sort of changed my point of view about these, because at first I just outright didn't like the blushes at all. But if you are struggling, try a natural hair brush. Okay, so now let's do I want a powder? I mean, this is a powder, liquid to powder foundation, and I did bring a powder that I haven't used in ages, and I've used it a little bit, and it is the MAC Medium Tan Mineralized Skin Finish, but I honestly don't think I'm going to use this today. I just don't want any more powder on my face like that, like you know what I mean, like powder. So let's talk highlighter. Why don't we talk highlighter, guys? And just to give you a heads up, I'm not doing my eyes today because I am filming another video after this, and I am filming a look. I'm doing a 3 looks 1 palette video, so I need to do the first look, but that is with a new palette. or newer palette, so I don't want to do that because we're using no products in this. So we're going to basically be doing everything but the eyes. So I'm going to be doing the lips as well, so you'll get everything again but the eyes. But these are the two highlighters I was looking at. I have my Dose of Colors in Melonade, and then I have my Colored Raine in Your Treat. And I think Melonade is going to be the winner on this one. And if you guys want to see that, it's just very like, I don't know if that even is picking up on camera. It's this really pinky gold. It looks very red in the pan, but it's not. It's actually just more of a pink. Did I bring a highlighter brush with me? I did not. I always forget. It's always like, I'm always like massing all my items from my makeup collection, which is on the other side of the room. And there's always like one or two things I sit down and I'm like, yeah, I got everything. And then there's like one or two things and it's like that. I'll be back. Okay, I am back and I have come bearing a highlighter brush. This is an all-over blending brush from Melonade. It's teeny tiny. I used to use this for cream bronzer and I still really like this for cream bronzer. I am a firm believer that if you are struggling with cream bronzer, I would suggest using a smaller brush, a more precise brush with the cream product, because you know cream can kind of like spread and you feel like it's out of your control. Using a smaller brush always helps. But because I want to be precise with my highlighter, I figured this would be a good option. So we are going to deep into Melonade. I'm going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to apply that on my little cheekies here. And I'm actually going to bring it up over my temple here. That is so pretty. Oh, so pretty. Yes, I'm even doing my nose. I know that's supposed to be like a thing that we don't do anymore, but I still do it because I like it. And I am a firm believer that you do what you like. If it makes you feel good, do it. If you think you look pretty in it, wear it. Okay, so as you can see, it just gives like a little bit of extra something, and using a smaller brush just allowed me to be a little bit more precise because I didn't want a ton, because I have like a glowy bronzer and then the highlighter and you know, yeah, so I was like, okay, I'm not mad at how this looks, guys. I'm not even mad with how this looks with this. Like, it's grown on me now that I have everything on, because I would hate to have to like not declutter this. I haven't finished it. Like, I have about that much of the product left. And I don't know how far down this goes, but it's like to here when it settles. So I have a fair amount of product and I want to use it up, you know? I might even add this to my project pan. We'll see. I'm not going to commit to that because I don't know, but I might. I'm going to use this again some point this week, the same way with the same, like with the Laneige Glowy Makeup Serum, and see. Because I have a feeling this would work really well under like masks, and I have to wear a mask at work. So yes, let me wipe off my lip mask, and I'm going to apply my lipstick, and then we're going to talk about it, but it's a liquid lipstick. I hate applying liquid lipstick on camera. It gives me anxiety. So we're going to do it off camera and then we're going to talk about it. Okay? Okay. All right, guys, I am back, and this is the finished look minus eyes, of course. What do you think? The lipstick I am wearing is Colored Raine's liquid lipstick in the shade Kiss Me. I love this shade. This is not my favorite formula though. It's not. They just recently had a sale on a bunch of their lipsticks, their lip products in general, and I almost repurchased this because I love the tone so much, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it because I'm like, it doesn't make sense to buy a lipstick in a formula that you don't love. I would much rather finish this up and then try to find a shade that is a dupe for this in a formula that I enjoy, and which I think I can. I'm going to look and see if Dose of Colors, which is my favorite liquid lipstick formula, has something similar. But one thing I will say about Color Raine, even though I don't love their formula for the liquid lipsticks, their shade range is stunning. They almost had me. I had a bunch of stuff in my cart, and then I was like, why am I spending money on a bunch of lipsticks and formula that I don't love? And then I came to my senses and backed out. You know what I mean? So this is the finished look, guys. My nose is so itchy. God, there's like cat hair. There's cat hair on my nose, cat hair on my forehead. Anyway, what do you think, guys? I actually really like it. I was looking at this in the mirror as I was doing my lipstick, and I was like, This is actually really pretty. Like even the skin, and I'll zoom you guys in a bit more. Even the skin doesn't look bad. Like I feel like now that the foundation is kind of settled, it actually looks really pretty with everything that I've, you know, paired it with. So I'm not mad at this. And I'm really happy that I did this on camera because I hope that it kind of inspires you to sort of reach into that, you know, that back drawer or those drawers that you never touch of makeup that just has been sitting there, and it's makeup that you necessarily haven't wanted to part with, but it's not makeup that you've thought about or reached for, or that you've just simply forgotten about. And by pulling those products out and sitting down and playing with them, you can sort of rediscover things that you really enjoy, or you can make decisions. You can say, oh, wait, I don't like this anymore. This is something that I can do away with, and it can free up some space in my collection. It doesn't have to sit here and languish. You can toss it if it's expired, or, you know, give it to a friend, whatever you do when you declutter. So I hope that this was inspiring as far as that goes, to just sort of sit down and play with those products that are forgotten in your collection. If you enjoyed today's video, guys, please be sure to hit the like button, and I will see you in the next one. Bye now.